We'd like to talk about reparations today. And these reparations being that of slavery. Slavery have existed all over the world. But there was no slavery like the slavery that the black African Americans experienced. These reparations, some people feel that we don't deserve. And how can you feel that we don't deserve these reparations when all others that experience certain kind of wrongs and atrocities were compensated? Half the portion of this is being in rewriting history. But we all know, we've seen enough, and there's enough proof of the brutal things that these black Americans had to suffer. I hear a lot of people that's got a lot of opinions about us wanting reparations, but don't understand why certain class of people are so far ahead of us today in this financial race. This financial race wasn't fair from the jump. When blacks heard that they were free, in which in their mind, they always thought if we could just be free, if they would just leave me be, let me work for my family, if that's what we have to do, then everything would be fine. Certain people promised 30 acres and a mule that we've never seen yet today. Those 30 acres and a mule could have kind of, in a way, almost made things fair for the up and coming future that these black people was gonna have to face. But the white counterparts did their homework. They knew, well, they've already adapted to the farm life. They already know how to pick cotton, tobacco, or their land crops more efficiently than we could. They was like, we're not trained to get out here in the fields and hump it and work like them. They've done it so long to they've grown to be able to withstand the hostile weather factors, time, effort, and hours. Why would we give them those 30 acres and a mule when it would put them above us? They'll outpick us. I was raised by my grandparents, great-grandparent mostly. I've heard a lot of stories about these atrocities and the things that they had to bear. These people buried these things without any pay, any reparations, false lies, and securities. Picture this. You worked this farm all this life, lived on this farm, and the human mind grows accustomed to not think this is home, but the only home one would know. And to wake up one day and say you're free. Go. Get off my land. Where did they go? Where did they go? Where did they have to go? But to walk up, maybe find work at another nice white man's place who would give them work, shelter. But he was still the master of that land, the master of that house. In all fairness, you could almost say we've just been walking the land. And thinking about these stories as a child, never had to experience a cotton field or the things that my great-great-grandparents or grandparent and great-grandparent taught me. But to one day, picture maybe riding around with your friends, just got out of school, if you live in one of these areas, and you can walk by and you can look at some of these plantation spots that was dedicated back to the government, that was revered back to the government. And some of those white people say to leave anybody in my family or know my house, if they didn't have family members or family members that they agreed with, they left those places to the government, and the government turned some of them into parks. Sort of like checkpoints, national monuments maybe. Where I live, we have places like this to where if you wanted to see a plantation home, you can go up and see it. And it's a park out there. So, someone like me, picture in my mind with the stories I was told and what I was taught through history and the history books, to see this and know about the 30 acres and a mule, the lie about reparations, the lie about making things right. Everything we've only gotten is words. Even back in Africa, some of the tribes, what could they do but say we're sorry? Here in America, what could they do besides give us our 30 acres and a mule or reparations but say we're sorry? And we have other nationalities that get up and maybe want to scoot us to the side and hush that, and you complaining, and won't you just go with the flow? And but until you are that human that happened to, you wouldn't know that feeling. I felt that feeling, and many others have, especially brothers who are not lazy and good with their hands. It's like, would have been a good idea. Even if I would have inherited 30 acres and a mule from my family, I have something. I have land to work. I have property. I'd have some way to make money. But no, our way to make money is to be employed once again under the same people that enslaved us. It's not a good feeling, especially to hear someone to make it like We're just ranting, you know, blowing smoke. But I'm here to tell you it's not smoke. Actually, it's embarrassing. Because you're telling me to pretend it never happened when I know it did. Because if it didn't, I wouldn't be sitting here in America, quote unquote, as that person would say, complaining, which is a righteous complaint. You can't tell me it's not. To be lied to think of the abuse we went through, and to be hushed about the rapes, the murders, the torture, the whoopings, the beatings. Everything we've had, it's had a cap on it. A certain height that can be reached until you're told, "Oh, slow it down. You're getting too big." Not being able to sprout your wings, fly your full potential. And the only thing that's accepted is sports. Track, running, jumping, boxing, singing, dancing. A lot of us are more than singing, dancing, rapping, boxing, running, jumping. You think that's all black people want to do? You think that's all we're capable of doing? When we've studied a rich history of ours, a lot of inventions we've made that were stolen, our ideas, like that good chicken you eat. Some people say it's the best chicken in the world. Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Colonel. Gave the lady that worked for him $1,000, I believe, for that recipe. And Kentucky's made billions since that day. Still making billions. The railroads we broke our back building for transportation to get back and forth all across America. Unfairly paid in that, just as it is today. Always unfairly paid for the work we bring to the table. And to have every other race be quiet, don't complain. When other races and nationalities have been compensated for the wrongs. We can have a pandemic and get a stimulus check because they know let's stimulate the economy. They need help. The pandemic has shut them out of work. So here you go. We know you need something, you gotta eat. Even though that stimulus check was minute, and everyone who got it knew it. Most, over half. I bet the money was gone in a month or two. Let's just say 3, 4, 5. Let's say 6, 7. Let's say 8. let's say 9. And then the hundreds of years of slavery with the goose egg, 0. Can your mind compare those two? If it can, you'll probably come to the consumption that they looked at you like, yes, we know what happened. We know you need income, reparations, a way of working at the time when mostly America was living off the land, the production of the land. To be like a slap in the face, like we don't care about what happened to you. Yes, we'll pay everybody but you and your people. Why? Why? I think we know that reason.